utmost gratitude to our today guest, Nagavashini ma'am, Scientist B, Bureau of Indian Standard, Delhi. Now, I request Dr. Kanchana madam to introduce our guest. Kanchana ma'am.
Yes, sir. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Ms. Nagavarshini Mayakannan. She has completed her BE in Biomedical Engineering and she has qualified the GATE Biomedical with All India rank of 26. Before joining the Bureau of Indian Standards as Scientist B, she has worked in IIT Madras at Computational Neuroscience Laboratory as a Junior Research Fellow and Project Associate. She has multiple areas of research. Her areas of research interest include computational neuroscience and physiological modeling of blood vessel, biomedical instrumentation, and biomedical image processing. She has worked in various research projects like nonlinear dynamics oscillators to model the oscillations in the brain, and machine learning and neuroscience using GCAL self-organized map and LISOM. She also worked as an intern at the Haptics Laboratory in the Department of Applied Mechanics at Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Ms. Nagavarshini has multiple research publications in reputed journals and conferences. It's our pleasure to have you here, madam. We welcome you. Now I request the speaker to share her thoughts and
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me here for this presentation. I'd like to thank Head of the Department of Medical Electronics, sir, Dr. Murthy, sir, for inviting me here, and a special thanks to Dr. Kansha, ma'am, for inviting me for this presentation. So, I'd like to express my thanks to head of my Department of Medical Equipment and Hospital Planning at BIS, Mr. P.V. Matthew sir, and Dr. Pradeep Dua sir, scientist C, who has also joined with us today for this webinar. So thank you sir for your valuable inputs for preparing this presentation. Now I'll share my screen. So today I'll be giving the overview of the medical device industry in India. Like the flow of presentation goes like this. I'll be talking about the overview of Indian medical device industry with all the import and manufacturing in India, and as well as the market size of medical devices, the various stakeholders who are involved in all this, and what their holistic vision is, and why do we need regulations, why do we need standard bodies, and what are all the certification procedures for medical devices, testing laboratories, and how is CDSU involved in all these? What is the role of regulators? Then we have the medical device regulations 2017. What is the impact of those regulations on the for the users as well as the manufacturers, and the various career prospects in the medical device industry. So I'll be my presentation will be broadly categorized into five major domains. So we'll be starting initially with the overview of the medical device industry in India. So with the COVID-19, like there has been a significant growth in the medical device sector in India, and the Indian medical device market is also among the top 20 markets in the world. And in 2020, the market was around 11 billion US dollars, and it is expected to grow up to 65 billion US dollars. And the manufacturing of medical device industries have like grown enormously, and there are around 800 manufacturers for medical devices as well as 100 for IVDs. And even though we have a lot of manufacturing in India, there is a huge amount of import from various other countries also. Around 75 to 80% of our medical devices are being imported from all over our world. And so who are all involved in this? Like the various stakeholders who are involved, the manufacturers who manufacture these medical devices for the benefit of the users, and who are all the various government organizations like BIS, CDSU, NITI Aayog, the policy framing organizations, the standard developing organizations, and the regulators who are all involved, and what is their holistic vision. They all work towards providing safe, reliable, and quality products to the consumers who are the patients who will be using those through certification, which is being certification standards, which is being dealt with by BIS and the regulators by CDSCO. So they all work towards a common goal of providing safe and reliable products to the consumers. So what will happen if there are no regulations? So this is a picture in the left where we have a roundabout where we do not have any road markings on the road. This is how a chaotic situation will look like when there are no regulations. So to the right, we have a picture wherein we have all those markings in the road, which actually uh, like depict the safe and safety of the road regulations and all that, so that the passengers and the people will be benefited, and there will not be any adverse effect on the people who use those road safety regulations and all. So there is a great need for regulations in the normal road scenario itself. So when it comes to medical devices, there is even more because it involves the life of human patients who are using this. This is a recent case wherein Philips ventilator has been recalled because of there was cancer-causing risk reagents which are being used in the ventilator. So they had to recall their products. This happened a month ago. It can cause to various health hazards to the patient if there is no standards and regulations for medical devices. So this is one case wherein it could have caused an adverse reaction to the patients. So another case wherein Medtronics, this is for the case of insulin pump. Insulin pump is that which actually introduces insulin while observing, like monitoring the blood glucose level. If the blood glucose level goes high, the insulin is actually injected into the patient. So this is how the insulin pump works. There was actually a problem with the monitoring of the blood glucose of the patient, and that had caused to that even the death of the patient. So this causes a greater need for the devices to be regulated and to follow the standards which are being developed by various organizations. So it can cause a huge impact on the life of the users who are using them. And this is another case study wherein this involves Johnson and Johnson, wherein the hip implants which were used actually caused adverse reactions to the patients, and it had affected various patients also. So in return, they had also had to provide all those patients who had implanted hip implant, even though they had to provide compensation. The health hazards to the patients were also a huge factor which has to be considered. So these are the cases wherein the need for medical regulations and the standard, because it's a matter of life and death. Like it's all involves human intervention. So we have to be cautious in all these. So there is a huge demand for medical devices to be regulated and to follow the norms and standards which are being published by the various organizations. So with this, we'll talk briefly about what BIS does. So BIS is Bureau of Indian Standards, which was actually developed in 1947 under BIS Act 2016. So the various activities of BIS is to develop standards, and we provide laboratory testing facilities also, and we recognize labs as well, and we provide certification to the various products, processes, systems, and services. Products in the sense, like for example, we have masks which are being standards for masks which are being developed during these COVID times. So all these standards are, like for example, the standard of a mask will have all the like how resistant it will be to prevent all those resistant to allow the fluids which will enter the mask. So all these test factors are to be considered while designing a standard. So a process is like for example, the biocompatibility of a medical product is to be examined. So the test methods which are used for biocompatibility evaluation of a medical devices are mentioned in the process standard. Systems and service standards are general horizontal standards. Like horizontal standards are have a broader scope wherein we'll be discussing about them in detail in later. Where we have standards for all the medical devices. These are systems and service standards. So basically, BIS is involved in standard formulation, laboratories, and certifications for products, processes, and systems. So this is about BIS, which is the national standards body. We have ISO also, which is International Organizations for Standardization. This is actually an international standard setting body, which is composed of various national standard bodies. We have Germany standard, which is DIN, Indian standard BIS. There are various other standard national standard organizations which are a part of ISO and are involved in the formulation of standards at the national level. This ISO is mainly involved in harmonizing standards across various countries just to regulate the trade among various countries, so that when a multinational company is providing products for overall all over the world, like they do not have to produce different products for different countries, right? So to regulate all the that international standard organization for standardization is actually coordinating all over the world with all the national standard organizations. So we use standards everywhere, but we don't realize it. Like for example, the standards are used in the sockets which are being used. It is as per IS 1293 2019 standards for plugs and sockets. The standard paper size A4, A3, A2 are as per standard. The SI units which we have been studying from school from grade 1 are also standard. Standards initially started with the need for trade. Like for example, like when there is a need to exchange goods, from their standard started. Like where we had to measure a particular product, and it has to be the measurement of a product started with was the initial point for the need of standards to be developed. So, what are standards? Standards are documented agreements which are established after consensus from the recognized bodies. Like consensus here is like mutual consent of a group of team members from various stakeholders come together, like agree upon something, and which is being approved by recognized body, which is in this case is BIS. This contains technical specifications, which are rules, guidelines, and definitions. This is made to ensure that the material, product, and the process are of the optimum degree. So basically, the aim of standard is to provide optimum degree of order, like wherein the product should be qualitatively and qualitative should meet the requirements of quality. So the standards are documented rules, guidelines, which are being referred to every time to ensure the quality of a product, material, or a process. So standards in general are voluntary by itself, but it can be mandated by the authority. So it's not like it's up to the manufacturer if he wants his product to be certified by an organization, so he can do that. Like it's not mandatory for a manufacturer to comply to a particular standard. So standards are actually classified based on what it is intended for. Like we had seen, like we have standards for products. Like for example, we have standards for mask, wherein it will actually have the general requirements. It's the various, like for example, dimensional requirements for various surgical instruments, biomaterials which are used in materials which are used in the development of various surgical instruments, the test procedures, and all that are included in the product standard. Then we have specific test method of test standards, wherein which will actually give the test to be standard framework for test to be carried out in any environment. So then the third category is the service standards, which are actually quality management system standards. This is ISO 13485. This is for medical devices. We have IS 23485. This is for the quality management requirements of medical devices. So these are the standards which are for services and system standards. So standards based on the scope, it is also classified into horizontal and vertical standard. Horizontal standards are for a broader category. Like for example, system standard that every medical device should comply to is a horizontal standard. And vertical standards, like for example, standards for masks are vertical standards. So these are the broad categorizations for which standards are intended for. So in medical equipment hospital planning department of BIS, we are formulating standards for various domains. Like for example, the first domain is the surgical instruments and equipment. So in this we have general, orthopedic, ocular surgical instruments, and cardiothoracic, neuro, ENT. So all these are the various subcategories which are involved in the surgical instruments. The implants, the next category is implants. We have implant standards for cardiac implants, like for pacemakers, stents, sorry, like stents, ocular implants, intraocular lenses, orthopedic hip implants, and neural shunts, and dental implants also. The third category is electromedical and diagnostic equipments. We have X-rays and CT scan, MRI standards for all these. Assistive products, we have standards for uh, wheelchairs, crutches, although rehab equipments which are used. All these are, we have standards for all those. The next category is medical laboratories, instruments, and in vitro diagnostic devices. So these are those devices which are used for the diagnostic purpose of various diagnosis of various devices. For example, like we have standards for blood gas analyzer and jaundice assessment devices. So all these are standards which are involved in medical laboratories and instruments and in vitro devices. So anesthesia and resuscitator equipments, like this has been a growing field wherein during the COVID times we had various standards for ventilators and heart lung machine and all that. So this has been a boom like during COVID times. And we have standards for hospital equipment and planning. These are all system standards. Health informatics, which has standard for electronic health record systems, and contraceptives. These have standards for intrauterine devices and all that. So we have emerging areas like biomedical waste management and medical biotech and nanotech. All these will be allied healthcare services which are being, like for example, this will be involved in the implants which are used in orthopedic hip implants and all. And we have anatomy and forensics. So in this we have standards for autopsy kits and all. So these are the various domains for which standards are formulated under MHT Division Council of BIS. So what is the process in which standards are formulated? So like initial to start with, we'll confirm the need for formulating standards. Okay. We'll confirm the need for standard on a particular subject. We'll identify the need for which a standard has to be formulated. Then we'll identify if there are any relevant international standards on that. So to start with, we'll put the right people in the bus. Like we have to set up the technical committee so that the inputs from the relevant stakeholders are received. Then we'll develop the standard. Then we'll invite comments from the committee itself. Then we'll resolve the comments. Then we'll have a second level of review from like all over the draft will be circulated to all over the India. Like any member who is an expert in the field can comment on the documents. Then only after the comments are resolved, and only if the consensus is obtained, the document will be approved and published. It does not end here. Like we'll have to review the standards, revise the standards appropriately at regular intervals of time. So this is how the process of standard development in BIS is. So we have standards for various important medical devices. Like we have standards for endoscopy, ventilators, rehabilitation, wheelchairs, coveralls, which have been important during COVID times. This has to be complied to the standards which are mentioned below. Oxygen concentrators, then face masks. Masks have become under compulsory certification. It has to be registered. It has to comply to the standards. And we have surgical gloves which should comply to IS 13422. And we have standards for X-ray machines, vaccine carriers, hip implants, perimetry, which is used in ophthalmology, thermometers, and cardiac stents. So, so, so we have standards for various categories of medical devices which are used in the like in the medical world. To be specific, we have standards for surgical instruments. This standard ISO 7741 is a standard for instruments which are used in surgeries. The key aspects of the standard should have like the requirements for the material composition of the standard, hardness of the standard, then the surface requirements of the standard, corrosion resistance, the test methods which are used to determine if the particular product is resistant to corrosion or not, and its performance evaluation, like if it's able to efficiency of that blade of the knife or the scissors which is used in surgical procedures to test their like the test their performance. So all these test methods and the material composition requirements, hardness requirements are specified in this standard. So similarly, the requirements for intraocular lenses are specified in ISO 11979, and for this is for biological evaluation. We have standards for biological evaluation of medical devices, which is mentioned in ISO 10993. It has various parts. It actually specifies the various test procedures which are used for the biological evaluation of medical devices, so that it is biocompatible and it does not cause any hazards to the patients who are using that. So with this, this covers the broader overview of how a standard is being formulated in BIS and at international level also ISO, the classification of various standards based on the product, process, and services, like the horizontal standards, vertical standards, the process in which a standard is formulated, various domains in the medical device, the standards for medical device, and we have seen some examples of standards also. Now we have these standards. We have to test these standards to be in compliant. Test the products to be in compliant with the standard, so that a standard mark or a certificate is being provided, so that the particular product is compliant to that standard. So for these, we have laboratory testing. So this is the ISI mark, which is actually given when a product is found to be in compliance with the standard by BIS. So the reason for ISI is like initially BIS was called Indian Standards Institution. So this is where ISI mark has come from. So now we have the products are tested in laboratories, the conformance of the product to that particular standard is verified, and the standard certification mark, ISI mark, is given to that product, stating that this product is safe to use. So next we have the regulators. Regulators are CDSCO. CDSCO is the National Regulatory Body of India, which actually regulates the medical devices. So in 2017, they have actually published the Medical Device Rules 2017, and which actually gives an overall framework for how the medical devices have to be complying to the standards of BIS and various other options also. We'll be discussing all those in detail in the later upcoming slides. So they have in 2020, they have made all those drugs as medical devices. So all medical devices sold in India would be treated as drugs. So so in 2020, the amendment to Medical Device Regulation 2017, which actually gives the definition of medical devices. So this goes like this: a medical device is any instrument, apparatus, appliance, implant, or the material which is being intended for a human being for one of any of the particular purpose it is intended for. Like it can be for diagnosis, prevention, monitoring, or treatment of any diseases, or it can be for treating or diagnosis of any injury. It can be for replacement of any body parts, or it can be supporting life devices like ventilators. Then disinfection of medical devices like sterilization techniques which are used, then control of contraceptions like intrauterine devices which are all used. So this was the definition which was mentioned in the medical amendment for medical devices rules 2017. So in MDR 17, they have classified the medical devices into 4 broad categories for IVDs as well as medical devices based on the risk factor as Class A, Class B, Class C, and Class D. So in the clause 7 of MDR 17, they have also mentioned about the medical devices to conform to a particular standard which has been published by BIS. If that particular standard, so any device which is being manufactured should come, which have been listed in the MDR 17 are to come, like which have been notified by CDSCO are to be complied with BIS standard if available, or if not, the standards of ISO, IEC can also be taken. So this was as per the clause 7 of MDR 17. And also in MDR 17, we have mandatory registration of medical devices. So these are the list of devices for which the medical devices are to be registered. So this is the timeline for medical devices rules, wherein in from April 1st, 2020, so MDR 17 has become, and its amendment has been become effective. And from September 2021, registration of all medical devices which are manufactured, imported, and sold or distributed are to be registered in CDSCO. From September 2022 and September 2023, like Class A and Class B and Class C and Class D respectively are to be, like the license has to be obtained for manufacturing, importing of various medical devices. So this is how like regulators also impart a way in which the safety of the medical devices are being ensured. So standards in coordination with regulators play a major role in ensuring the safety of the medical devices so that the patient's health is not under concern. So what are all the various career prospects in the medical device industry? Like, so this red flow is actually the life cycle of the medical device, from the conception, development to the manufacturing, testing, then meeting the regulatory requirements, then marketing, then disposal, and the post-market aspects. So this is how medical device is being developed in various phases. So to begin with, like we engineers will actually contribute in various aspects, wherein R&D engineer, we can actually be involved in the design and conceptualization of the various devices as R&D engineers in various like independently, as well as being involved in various organizations, medical device manufacturing organizations also. Once a device is being designed, then we have all the testing procedures and all the licensing procedures and all involved in that. So we have various organizations like BIS is also involved in licensing, certifying of the medical devices, and there are other organizations like UCI also who is involved in all that. There is a lot of opportunities in like example, like CDSU have currently, like since they have brought various medical devices under regulation, they have recently recruited around 172 medical device officers for like for inspection and all that. So there is recently a lot of opportunities in the field of medical device industry. So with respect to regulators, each medical device manufacturing company will have a regulatory analyst who actually will map the requirements of a particular product which is being manufactured by the company, so as to meet the requirements which is being specified by the regulators and the standard formulating organizations. Regulators here are CDSCOs, as we know, and standard formulating organizations are BIS. So there is even in BIS, like there are a lot of opportunities for the developing standards for medical devices also, and CDSCO. So next comes the phase of medical device, wherein the marketing phase, wherein like the product which is being developed, which is meeting the requirements of the regulators as well as certified, is being marketed to the product. So this is being dealt with by the clinical application specialist. For every manufacturing company, they actually go to the particular field, they actually promote, like explain the product to the users and all. So this is how like engineer can contribute to the different phases in the life cycle of medical devices. So, so to summarize, we started with the Indian medical device industry, the overall market size of market size, import of medical devices, manufacturing in India, where does India stand in the global market, and who are all the various stakeholders who are involved in that. What is a vision? What is a holistic vision? Then we dealt with why we need regulations in day-to-day life. Then we saw three case studies wherein medical device, there was a need, like there were cases wherein the medical device had failed, like for J&J hip implants, Philips ventilators, and Medtronic we had infusion pumps. So we saw three cases wherein the medical device had failed, and regulations and standard comes into play wherein to maintain the quality of the medical devices. So next we were saw about the Bureau of Indian Standards, national standards body. Their what a standard is. We use standards in day-to-day life. What BIS does, what ISO is, International Organization for Standardization. Then we saw the various process which is involved in standardization, various domains of standards which are being developed for medical devices. Then we saw
Yes,
a few
medical devices. Manufacturing.
then we had various
Sorry.
examples of standards which were being we discussed about all those. Then we had like we have standards, then the standard products are being tested if that is being complied with the standard or not. Then if it conforms, the standard mark is being provided to that product. So then role of regulators comes, CDSCO. Then we had the medical device rules 2017, their definition, mandatory registration of medical devices. Then we had various classification of medical devices based on the risk and how they are being regulated. And from September 2022 and 2023, almost all the categories of medical devices will be licensed. Only then it will be authorized for any manufacturer to sell, import, or distribute the product in the market. So then we saw about the various carrier perspectives of along the life cycle of medical devices, how an engineer can contribute to the various aspects and phases of medical devices. So this is how, like, the whole overview of my presentation is today. So I'd like to thank Mr. P.V. Matthew sir, head of our department, Dr. Pradeep Dua, who has joined us today, and for his valuable inputs and suggestions, and they have helped me a lot in the formulation of this presentation today also. And I'd like to thank Dr. Kanchana ma'am for inviting me for this talk today. So if there are any questions, we can take up.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can ask a speaker, or you can also post it in the chat box. Okay. Now I'd request Dr. Manju to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, one and all present here. It's my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the management of Savita Engineering College, extending their generous support in organizing this live webinar. We are indeed privileged to have an eminent person, Ms. Nagavarshini, as a chief guest today. On behalf of all gathered here, a heartfelt thanks to you, ma'am. I would like to thank all my colleagues from the Department of Medical Electronics for all their hard work and dedication in organizing this event. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants for their active participation. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for organizing.
Thank you very
and
much, ma'am.
inviting me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Participants, the feedback link is posted in the chat box.